that's going to come
And it could
from.
be like a whole yellow snow bit.
Exactly.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
It'll be a sunrise.
Oh, my God.
It'll be a sunrise.
So good. All right. Yeah. See, it's weird that ChatGPT didn't suggest that.
It is.
AI's not taking our jobs.
No, they're not taking creative jobs anytime soon.
Yeah, these writing jobs are here to stay. The Hollywood Union is safe. What is that, the Screenwriters Guild?
Screenwriters Guild.
They're fine. Those guys are going to be safe forever. Keep your jobs, writers.
From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Pod Therapy. Real people, real problems, and real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. And now, broadcasting from the SJ and the Ruckus Studios.
Koi Pond Studio.
Koi Pond Studio. Thank you. That's Jim. I'm Nick. It's time for some Pod Therapy.
I don't know how to say hello from Portugal.
Pew Pew, Texas.
Hola. Lay hello.
So I got some interesting news. I can...
Wait, hold on. I just, real quick before your interesting news, I'm sorry. Jim just said something.
Yes.
And
Go ahead.
I just need to check on something real quick.
Yeah.
Based on something that Jim just said.
Uh-huh.
Jim, what language do they speak in Portugal?
Oh, Portuguese.
Okay.
Portuguese.
Yeah.
Okay. One
Yeah.
for one.
Like
Any other
Mexican,
questions?
know.
Because
is it Portuguese?
He was
like
already
Spanish?
quizzed on this during our
Portuguese.
fantasy football draft.
Porsche. No, that's a car.
Because he definitely just said like lay something.
Yeah.
yeah.
Pew pew.
'Cause
Pew,
they,
pew, le pew.
So I think he thinks that
someone in
Portugal
our-
speaks Spanish.
Someone
They
in
have the
our,
word lay in Portuguese,
Okay.
don't they?
I don't know.
The
I don't-
Spanish people do.
I don't
be
speak
honest.
Portuguese.
Okay.
I've never studied Portuguese.
All right. Well,
yeah.
I also.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Nick. What did you have that was interesting?
We're equally
Don't even remember
uninformed.
now, but no. So I teased a little bit. I was going to be
Yeah,
on a
you did.
podcast about music, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we recorded that today. It is on the Basement broadcast.
What?
Tess Miller
Oh.
has a podcast.
Yes.
The Basement broadcast.
Okay.
So check it out. I was interviewed for that, and so kind of how we do or are supposed to do Monday deep dives.
Yes.
Yeah, so they kind of do a similar thing, and so this show is what she calls the B-side,
Ah.
and she just interviews a guest, and I was the guest, and it was all about music.
I love
So
it.
It was honestly, and this is not hyperbole, I'm not exaggerating at all,
Huge dick.
probably the best podcast that's ever been recorded.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Many are saying. Many people are saying.
Many are saying.
Wow,
yes.
that's
So
good.
you
Congratulations,
definitely
man!
wanna
You
check
won.
that
You
out.
won podcasting.
I did.
That's really terrific.
It's kind of over at this point.
So big news, and again, that podcast is titled "The Basement, Broadcast." Awesome.
So it's
people
probably
can
not going
find
to be
that.
up for another month yet.
Oh,
It sounds
okay.
like there's a bunch of episodes that are going to come out.
Oh, that's fine. That's
keep
fine.
your eye open for that.
Well, whenever Tess gets it all put together, we'll get the link. We'll make sure it's in our episode description, and we'll highlight it again. In other news, Best of Las Vegas voting has begun. Go to votejim.net every day, every device until August 18th. Oh, it opened August 18th. Until September something. And vote for me.
vote every day until
Every
last
day.
Tuesday.
Actually, voting is closed. We missed it.
Sorry. VoteJim.net, every day, every device. Very exciting stuff. Very happy to be in the running again, and hopefully defending my title. There are 40 fucking mental health clinics in Vegas now.
I did. I was
in this
checking
category.
some of those out, and
Yeah.
I got to say, a lot of them are really good.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, go fuck
A
yourself.
lot of really
They're
good
even opening a new
programs in there.
category that's now called counseling. It's just getting fucking ridiculous. Like, there's 2 different mental health counseling categories.
You're looking
now.
at this all wrong. You should be looking at that. There's 2 that I can win.
I didn't know about the second one.
Oh.
And if I would have known, I could have tied it all into my little votejim.net website and gotten 2 votes.
So how do they define the difference between counseling?
They don't fucking know. I think that somebody just wrote into the newspaper. That's how I got the category invented in the first place. Because they didn't have the mental health clinic, and I wrote in and said, hey, you should have some kind of mental health thing. They added it the next year.
You
and
can
they
get
ran
something else. You can write out again because Matt Mattingly's Ice Cream Social is nominated again
Oh, are you?
for Best Las Vegas Comedian.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
We're not. I mean, that's not what we are.
Oh, I think of you as a Las Vegas comedy group.
Fine,
No.
but we're a podcast.
Comedian.
The show is a podcast.
Is there a podcast
We
category?
are not a comedian.
I do appreciate that you are now considered one individual.
Right.
That feels right. Yeah.
Like Matt Mattingly's Ice Cream Social is up against Jerry Seinfeld.
I feel like, dude, now we have to get you over the finish line. Like if you can beat fucking Jerry Seinfeld. Never mind. I don't even give a shit. I'm going to redirect VoteJim.net. It has a whole new goal. We just have to get our brothers to fucking beat Jerry Seinfeld. That would be the.
I think he is. I think he's literally nominated in the same category.
Oh, that's a tough run, buddy. Yeah. That's we'll see.
But no, like, there is no podcast category, and so people nominate us for something. They're like, oh, these guys should be in for something. They're just like, this.
Whatever. Just, we
I
want you
can't
to
wait till
exist.
next year when Jerry Seinfeld is competing with Jim for best mental health.
That motherfucker.
when they broaden the definition of mental health even more.
Best mental healthy comedian. Yeah. Anyway, PodTherapy.net, right? Is that our website?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you didn't
Patreon.com/therapy. That's where I was going with that. Patreon.com/therapy. You can catch our early show, the pre-show. You can hear about our fantasy football adventures and also hear about my new real, not ironic script for a Hallmark Christmas movie.
that I improved.
Which I love the notes. I'm going to be honest. People don't give you enough credit, I think, for your writing abilities.
And they give me a lot.
Yeah, and but still,
But not enough.
Not enough. The accolades, not enough. Until the Oscar, I don't feel that we've really.
It's like
reached.
how Coppola doesn't get enough respect as a film director.
That's how I was thinking.
He gets a lot of respect as a film
but
director,
not enough.
Not enough.
Yeah. No, until this good man has an Oscar, the value of all Oscars is deteriorated.
Yeah.
So, Patreon.com/therapy. You can hear my rough draft of my script. You can hear about our fantasy football funsies and our favorite holiday drinks and the problem that Nick clearly has with caffeine. It is an issue, my man. I'm worried for you.
Yeah.
I think you need to go get checked.
No joke. This actually happened last weekend. I was golfing.
Where are you?
And I was kind of like on the tee box, and I was a little
jittery.
shaky. Yeah, I was a little jittery. It took me a few holes. To kind of like level out a little bit.
Had some hair of the dog.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's really not good, bud.
I was like, I should probably dial this back a little bit.
Crush a few caffeine pills, get it in his coffee. Stir it up.
I mean, to describe this, I had a 3-foot putt and I hit it 35 feet.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is how people get addicted to cocaine.
Yeah. This is
exactly how it happens.
Chasing the tiger. Literally, Tiger Woods. We got some great questions for today's show. Excited to read them off to you. The first one we're leading off the order with is a tough one. We were just talking about this at the rehab that I work at as well. It's a really common thing, but the title is Chronic Unbearable Pain. Hello, Pod Therapy. For the last 8 months, I've been in chronic pain. Like someone has stuck a knife in sensitive skin, constantly pressing, and relief never comes. I've seen 2 doctors that prescribe me antibiotics, but that has not helped. I've tried over 20 herbal supplements and even multiple rounds of fasting, making an appointment to see a specialist, but that could be weeks or even months away. I'm emotionally exhausted without relief, so much so, I'm even considering using Kratom, which is addictive. What do you say to your patients suffering from chronic pain? At this point, it is affecting my will to survive. Any good resources or books? Yours truly, signed, Ouchie. It's a good name for that letter.
What is Kratom?
Yeah. You want to take that?
No.
All right. So I'm on it right now. So Kratom.
Fucking amazing.
Fucking is the best.
I don't think it's having for
I
me.
want these fucking bees out of my teeth.
Teeth.
So Kratom, dude. Kratom's a pain in the ass. So Kratom is like, it's another basically opiate. It's like partial hallucinogen, partial opiate, but you can get it at smoke shops. So it's one of these drugs that's not been around long enough to be scheduled by the government and be like forbidden. So you drive past any smoke shop and they'll have signs out that say you can buy Kratom. But Kratom comes from a plant that's really popular in Asia. And so like in Asian countries, they mix it into a tea. And it's basically just like an opioids tea. And it basically has the exact same effect where you're like, it's a painkiller, but then it also is extremely addictive. You go through the same spirals where you become tolerant of it. You need more and more of it. And it's a real fucking mess.
I'm sorry.
And Nick finds it hysterical.
Jesus,
I'm
Tansman.
remembering of a time that we had to dispose of like a pound of this stuff.
Yeah, at the rehab when that kid brought it in and he insisted on it.
But the thing is, if you've never seen it before, it's very light and fluffy.
Yeah, looks like
and
flour.
so I had to dispose of it. So I'm like, I guess I'll flush it down the toilet. But when you say that, like they make tea out of it, yeah, they do.
Toilet
and so
tea.
it's like, oh my god, like so many flushes. It took and as soon as you pour it out, it just gets in the air because it's so light and airy.
Oh, it
floats
is
on top of the water.
It is illegal to buy, possess, use, or sell in 6 states.
Good.
Louisiana is the latest one, August 1st of this year.
Nevada has a real
Alabama,
problem.
Arkansas, Indiana, Vermont, Wisconsin, and Louisiana. It is now illegal to do anything with kratom.
Nevada has a real problem with it, and it's one of these things that you're finding, again, at smoke shops. It's all over the place. You can even buy it online, and it's a real problem. And because it's not like forbidden federally, people get this misunderstanding about it, and I think it's like ubiquitous. It's kind of like, we don't see this as often these days, but do you guys remember when spice was everywhere?
Oh, yeah.
And everybody was like, hey, just because it's legal doesn't mean you should fucking smoke this, or bath salts.
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
like, again, like you were seeing like zombies, like guys and shit wandering down the freeway, and we were all like, look, I get that the federal government's slow to outlaw this shit. It takes an act of the Senate and Congress, and they can't even fucking fix daylight savings time. Like,
Well,
they're
the
not
thing
going to
with-
fix this.
The thing with that specifically is like, even when Congress passes a law to make it illegal, all you have to do is you just change one small thing
Exactly.
in
Right.
that
Nope, it's not
chemical
kratom.
equation.
It's-
and then
it's
now
cherry
something-
kratom. Yeah.
Yeah, now it's something different.
This diet kratom. What are you talking about?
Yeah, diet.
So kratom's a real pain in the ass. It
got
basically
stevia.
has the same effects as like heroin. It's not as potent, but like it has the same problem. And what's
But
happening
it
with
acts
a lot
on the
of
same
people,
opioid receptors in the brain.
Exactly. And so opioids, painkillers, right? And so like this is where a lot of people find kratom is they're not having success with traditional pain specialists and other things. And so they're starting to pursue this kind of on their own, but then it becomes this terrible loop. So I'm glad that the writer is writing in and saying, look, I am getting desperate and I'm thinking about this. And I think that gives us a chance to teach the public and to reflect, on behalf of the writer that kratom's a real dangerous game to play. And I've had lots of people just in this last year. I had a patient who was traveling across the world. They're kind of a remote worker, and so they're kind of taking advantage of that and kind of doing the digital nomad thing. Got addicted to kratom in Thailand. And like just really dangerous, and like really discovered like, hey man, I'm not in a good place, and like trying to get help. And like in Thailand, it's ubiquitous. Like you go to every bar and you could say like, oh, I won't have a beer, I'll have tea, I'll have kratom tea, and just here you go. But then like it's just like heroin, like it's just liquid heroin, but it's not as potent. So you're not gonna it's not common that people just like straight up OD on kratom, but they do the same spiral, right? Where the tolerance increases, the addiction increases, they start to dissociate, they start to break from reality, terrible symptoms of anxiety, and then just like, again, just it's only gonna get worse.
Like me with caffeine, I guess.
Very similar. It's almost pound for pound the same.
They're also finding a lot of stuff with it, liver and kidney damage.
Oh, yeah.
So people that already have any kind of liver or kidney problems really shouldn't get close to it.
It's a fucking mess. And it's tough because it's one of those things that people go, oh, but it's natural, right? And we've had this fight with the public for a long time.
And this is talking about high doses and then extended use. What's it called?
Chronic use?
Chronic use, but the thing that happens is basically it stacks up on itself.
Tolerance, yeah.
No,
Compounding,
basically, like
stays in your system.
That's it. The effects start
you keep
to compound.
adding up onto it.
Over time, and apparently with that, confusion, hallucinations, and delusions and paranoia.
Oh yeah, no, it's a fucking
the
bitch.
paranoia. Not they say that's rare, but the hallucinations apparently are pretty common.
Yeah. So this is like one part opiate, one part hallucinogen. It's a real pain in the ass, and like it's ubiquitous in society. It's really, really popular among younger people. But what the writer's talking about, and this is something we just had in our rehab, very similar. In the rehab I work at, we had a patient present with addiction to kratom, but really they weren't addicted to kratom. They didn't want kratom. They didn't just like having kratom. They were a person living in chronic pain and had tried all these prescription painkillers and had just gone up the escalator with that, because you know how that cycle goes. It's like, oh, let's start you off with Vicodin, and then all of a sudden you're on fucking Dilaudid, and then you need like heroin or something, and then you're on fentanyl. And so like this person was just going up and up and up, and they had diverted over to kratom in the hopes to get away from the orange bottles and hoping like, look, this seems like a nice little Asian smoke shop. It's a little bit more natural.
Not going to full-on heroin either.
Yeah, I'm using herbal supplements, which this writer relates to, right? And like starting to try this other organic path, and then Kratom kind of gets lumped into that category as like, oh, this is one more supplement. It's a leaf. It's a tea. And then here we have this patient going through all those symptoms that Jacob just described. And it's really tough because at the rehab level, you're trying to help this person, but they are describing a real medical problem. That chronic pain is real.
Right.
And when you're trying to remove this drug that's become a secondary problem, you immediately bump into that number one biological driver. And so this is where my interns were really struggling, because we're all working on like the ASAM and talking about dimensions. And like they're like, but Jim, there's a biological driver here that's real. Like this pain is real. We got to think about that. And this comes, and I got a chance to teach them about hyperalgesia and Dr. Pohl's theory. And we should probably talk about that, because that seems like something that the writer really needs to hear more about.
Yeah, so basically if you were to draw this out on a graph, so your vertical axis is going to be your pain, and then your horizontal axis is over time. With opioid use, what you tend to see is you're going to see a very significant decline in pain. I'm sorry, it would be the dosage.
Right, dosage, not time.
Yeah,
pain
dosage.
Versus dose,
Yeah, so you're going to see a steep drop, and then it's going to stay down.
It works really well.
Yep. And then all of a sudden, what Jim's referring to is opioid-induced hyperalgesia, which it almost becomes like a U shape.
Yes.
And it shoots right back up.
Way higher than it originally is.
Yeah.
It's baseline.
Shaped like me? Shaped like you.
It's a Jacob line.
Yeah. And so it's basically what happens is over time, these your pain receptors become super sensitive.
Yes.
And then now things that wouldn't normally trigger pain now do trigger pain.
Right.
And so it's different than tolerance, and that tolerance is when the effect wears off, or you need more of it to get the same effect. This is different. This is actually creating sensitivity in your pain receptors.
I remember Dr. Pohl, our former boss and mentor, who did a lot of great research on this, really specialized in it. He would kind of teach it to us as the opiates kind of deafen. They don't take away the pain. They deafen your ability to sense the pain.
Right.
And your body notices that something's wrong with the volume. So it turns the knob and it says, oh, I can't hear it really well. Let's go ahead and turn this thing up. And so it used to have the knob at 1, and then it doesn't hear well, so it kicks it to 3, kicks it to 7. And then when the opiates come off of your system again, now the sound is blaring, and it's at a 7, it's at an 8, and you're like, fuck! And you immediately have to cram more opiates in your system. Yeah. And now you're getting the double trouble, right? Because now you're kicking from the opiates, you're addicted, you're tolerant of that. That hurts already to like just withdrawal. And now every time you come off of your dosage, or you're coming down from the medication, the volume knob of the pain is ripped over to the right, and so like it comes roaring back, and that's hyperalgesia. The sensitivity increases over time, and that's that U shape that Nick's talking about, where the medicine's working for a while, and then eventually everything is worse. So this is something, writer, that I think we want you to be informed about, because whenever somebody's dealing with chronic pain, conditions like fibromyalgia, which I'm sure your pain specialist is going to talk to you about, and you're facing a very interesting thing, because it sounds like your first 2 doctors wanted to treat this with antibiotics. I'm curious what they were trying to deal with.
It sounds like there isn't a diagnosis yet.
Yeah. And the writer seems to talk about skin pain. Right. And I'm guessing, I'm just spitballing here, but like doxycycline and stuff like that, like antibiotics that are more focused on skin, and sometimes like some kind of fungal infection or like some kind of beneath the surface. I wonder if that's where his doctors are starting with.
Don't take medical advice from a podcast.
Yeah, do not take medical advice. But I'm curious if his doctors are saying, hey, let's hypothesize that there's an infection, there's something causing your pain. Let's use the medicines that might take that away first. Now that hasn't worked. So now they're probably going to refer him to a pain specialist. And I think Ouchie's now going to get to sit down and go over those options. And unfortunately, the tools that a pain specialist has are usually going to be opiates. But they're getting better at not just dumping those down your throat and saying good luck. Like they're trying to navigate the pain signals itself from a lot of different methods now. Yeah. But in the meantime, get you out of pain so you can function.
Because that's a tough road to go down, because, the difference between pain is very important. We need to have pain.
Yes.
Right. So, when there is tissue damage, we need to have that message that sends a message of pain, so we know to deal with the issue.
Right.
The problem, and what what chronic pain really is it's the brain continuing to receive those messages when there's no tissue damage.
Exactly.
And so you have to find, there has to be some long-term management with this. And unfortunately, one of the things is like when we go to prescribing opiates, then we have to ask and have this conversation with with the prescribing doctor. What's the long-term plan?
Right.
Because if we're just going to treat this with opiates, then we're going to have to continue to increase the dose over time.
There's no winning.
No.
So what? So what is going to be that long-term strategy to dealing with this?
Right.
Well, it doesn't have to be that long-term.
Yeah,
that's true.
You can just use a lot of opiates.
Yeah, there you go.
In some cases,
do not take advice from this podcast or Jacob ever. No, but this is something that Dr. Pohl used to teach us about, and one of the things that he used to preach was also all pain is in your head. And at first that sounds very dismissive because people don't feel that they're being taken seriously. People are like, oh, you're kind of imagining it, you're making it worse. When you're stressed, when you're anxious, when you're emotional, your pain seems to spike. I'm sure this is all being fabricated in your mind. And Dr. Pohl would say, all pain is in your head. And he didn't mean that dismissively. He meant, no, literally, the concept of pain itself, there is no organ that is called pain. Yeah. Pain can only exist as a neurosensor signal to the brain. Yeah. So it is just a signal sent by organs, interpreted by your brain to interpret it as suffering. So you will attend to that. But then he talks about how over time, when you're in chronic pain, emotional pain and physical pain become indistinguishable signals to the brain.
Yeah,
and so when you are in emotional anguish, you start to feel physical symptoms of pain. And when you are in physical pain, it causes emotional anguish. And round the fucking circle goes. Yeah. And then we can get addicted to drugs in the middle of all that, which treats both emotional symptoms and physical symptoms. And now you really start to create a house of cards. And that's why this is so complex. And Ryder, you talk about, like, is there any good resources or books? I've mentioned his name now several times. I'm going to quote the book, A Day Without Pain by Dr. Mel Pohl. Pohl. It's a really good book. I think it stands the test of time. It won several awards. And I believe that Dr. Pohl and Dr. Chiotti had even created a workbook that we used to kind of have there as well. And it might even be called A Day Without Pain.
I think
workbook.
It is. I've got that in my office right now.
Do you? I think both are published by Central Recovery Press, which is useful because you can go to their website and they have tons of resources.
Oh, yeah.
Because they employed Dr. Pohl and Dr. Chiotti and went this route and really tried to be a national trendsetter with the treatment of opiate addictions and chronic pain. And what was nice about that, Ouchie, is that the way that Dr. Pohl approached it, he wanted to get people off opiates because he saw that as only adding another layer of complication. And his goal was, I want my patients to function. I'm not trying to free them of all pain. He famously used to tell us all the time, there's only two pain-free states, under general anesthesia and death.
Yeah.
And so he said, my goal is not to get you out of pain permanently. My goal is to help you have a different relationship with pain so that it does not drive the car. Yep. It might still be a passenger, though. And I'd love to get it out of the front seat and into the back seat and just something that's around you but not dominating you. And he had a lot of interesting methods. And Dr. Chiotti, a psychologist, stepped up, had a lot of interesting mindfulness methods to just like change that volume dial with your relationship to pain organically and psychologically. So, Ryder, I would really encourage that. But chronic pain is a psychological issue as much as it is a physical issue. And unfortunately, it's an area that we have not done a great job with our physical health colleagues bridging that gap. We tend to silo ourselves. I don't think a lot of mental health providers are very well trained in chronic pain. You and I literally worked at a world-class program that specialized in it, and I feel comfortable describing it. I would not consider myself an expert at treating it. Even though we studied under these folks. It is just so nuanced and so complex.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard thing to deal with, man.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, kudos to you for working through it, man. It's not easy.
It isn't easy, but there are some resources out there. So please check out that book. It's really good. It would be great to get Dr. Pohl on an episode.
Are you crazy, man? I've told you what I did.
I know.
You're just going to humiliate me?
I'm bringing this up
He would pull no fucking punches. He doesn't give a fuck.
That's why I'm totally
A, he
on
would
board.
never do it. And B, if he ever did, it would be to look me right in the eyes and just tell me what he fucking thinks. I don't want any of this heat.
I think if
I'm sending him an email
I don't want
right
the
now.
smoke at all.
if I reached out to him
He just doesn't like
and
me.
asked him to do an interview and never mentioned that you were on the show.
I think I could get away. Yeah, I don't think he would even recognize me. I think if we were all... No, maybe he would. I don't know, man. He's a really nice guy. And so I think he'd be like, oh, Jim... Yeah, you used to work for me, right? You're the guy who gave me that pen?
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, sir. Please like me. It's been 15 years. Can we be okay now? Yeah. Please don't do that. That would be the worst.
We are doing that.
I have already sent him a message on
It's
LinkedIn. Yeah, and you know what? And I would also encourage you, Ouchie, to look up on YouTube, Dr. Mel Pohl, Pohl. He's given so many big talks, keynote
there's
speeches.
a lot of good stuff.
He's at conferences all the time, and he's a great speaker and a great interview. And I'm sure that he's got content everywhere talking about this stuff. But Ouchie, I just strongly encourage you, stay away from the fucking Kratom, man. Don't fuck around with it. I do not see this as a good thing for you.
That's a bad idea.
I just don't want you playing with that. I want you to talk to a specialist, and I want the specialist to help you navigate this. It sounds like your medical team is trying to figure out, is there a cause that we can cure? And as time goes on, if there is no cause, then we need to start learning how to manage this with medical and psychological tools. And if they don't refer you to therapy, I strongly encourage you to try to find that as well. Everybody drink. I've recommended therapy. It always happens. But even though there are very few of us in the field that specialize in this, in the studies that Dr. Pohl used to show us, we know that whenever somebody is attending to their emotional health and they're finding positive outlets, even the cathartic relief of talking and languaging through their pain, it lowers the volume on the emotional pain knob, and that affects the physical pain knob because all pain is in the brain. And so if you're lowering one, you're affecting the other, whether you realize it or not.
And honestly, there's no one on earth who's dealing with 10-level pain
Right.
that wouldn't take the deal of like, hey, what if I can get you down to a 6?
Yeah. Would you
like,
take a
yes.
9.5?
Yep.
Yes, I will.
Got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will take that, whatever it takes. What if I told you have to sit down and talk to, a shrink for an hour a week? Yep. That's going to take me down half a point. It's worth it to me.
Yep.
Anyway, Ouchie, you are not alone in this. Please look into those resources. Please stay the fuck away from the Kratom. Talk to a pain specialist. Talk to a therapist. Look into some of your options. I hope this gets better for you. I have seen so many people navigate this, and I just want my last word on this to be a lot of what Nick and I saw at that program at Las Vegas Recovery Center back when they had the pain specialty program. It looked like miracles to me. I saw people coming in wheelchairs, completely broken, and leaving on their feet, doing yoga, like their relationship with their body fundamentally transformed. So I know there are paths to wellness, and I just strongly encourage you to pursue those. But I promise you, if you just get into unrestricted opioid use or fucking around with Kratom, it is only going to make this more complicated and more difficult to undo. So please, if you can avoid that, don't go down that path. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're talking about grief in therapy. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Judy Schneider, Leon Kasab, Carolyn Albert, Sammy Scoop, Sarah Smith, Mike Helm, Darren Cunningham, Cody the DeLorean Guy, Brady Malachek, and Max the Ginger Scoop. If you would like to sponsor the show, become a therapist at patreon.com/therapy.
I'm liking this John Deere hat, buddy.
Thank you.
It's a solid hat.
I wear it often.
Yeah, it again, and I know I've pointed this out before. It's super ironic because we don't have any grass anywhere in our state, so there's just no point. I don't know that
Well,
John Deere sells anything.
does more than grass.
Oh, I apologize. Oh, how silly of me.
It's actually, lawnmowers are probably a very small percentage of their market.
Good.
But
hope they sell a lot of rakes for rocks. That's the only
tractors mostly. It's a tractor company.
Okay.
So they've got a lot of it's based kind of in the Quad Cities, but Waterloo, Iowa, where I live.
Yes.
That's the major employer is John Deere.
Okay.
Yep,
So
they've got a lot of
shout
plants, a lot of plants in John Deere. One of my good buddies, Snubby.
Snubby.
Snub.
He works for John Deere, and he works in the wind tunnel.
Oh, they have a wind tunnel?
Yeah.
It was like a fucking NASA
I was
program.
like, dude, how fast are these tractors going?
we gotta test these things to the highest possible tolerances.
We got to hit Mach 9 by next month.
Aerodynamics on this tractor are shit. We're never gonna get the
Apparently it's
Russians.
a
We
big
gotta
deal.
beat the Russians.
Yeah.
That fucking yard over there. We're never gonna make it, man.
All right, we're gonna wrap up misheard lyrics from last
Ooh,
week. So,
okay.
Whitney-
John Deere does make rakes, by the way.
Oh, excellent.
good.
Yeah. Thank God.
John, Jim, you're gonna take over Whitney's points.
All right. Oh, good. Am I in the
0.
lead? No. Fuck. Thanks, Whitney.
Okay. Here you go, Jim. A rock song casually reported yet another death.
These are lyrics.
No.
They're incorrect.
Yeah, this is a description of the lyrics.
Oh, okay.
Okay, a rock song casually reporting yet another death.
All right. So if I guess at it, I get 2?
You're not going to guess. Here are your options.
Thank you.
Another one, Bites the Dust by Queen.
Yeah.
Highway to Hell, AC/DC.
Uh-huh.
Knocking on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan.
Huh.
Or Let It Be by the Beatles.
Fuck. It comes off as well, that sounds like another one bites the dust. That sounds like that's what those lyrics are doing.
You would think it would be. Is that going to be your final answer?
Oh, okay. I feel like you're trying to talk me down. You know what? Fuck you. Yes, it is my final answer.
It is correct.
Yes! Not playing your games, bitch.
I've got 2 Chickens to Paralyze by Eddie Money. Is it?
No, I don't want options.
Okay.
It's 2 tickets to paradise.
Oh, my God.
I've got 2 chickens to paralyze.
Yes, you are correct. All right. Jim, misheard. Here's a misheard lyric. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning, said the worst attorney.
Oh, Jesus. Well, I know the real song, I think.
Well, you have to know, what is it, the song and the line, right?
Okay, I can get the line, I think.
All right.
We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. Is that it?
That doesn't say anything about a lawyer at all.
Well, okay, but yeah, that's the wrong lyric, right? Is the little lawyer thing.
But the song's about the lawyer.
It is?
Of course it is.
Oh, Jesus, I thought it was like...
It's about an arson attorney. The whole song, the whole rock song, We
Oh
Didn't
my
Start the Fire,
God.
is the life story of an arson attorney.
Yeah, what was his name?
It was like Edward R. Fire or something.
That makes
Yeah,
more
it was
sense.
really
no, that was silly.
It was
No.
really
Eddie
ironic.
Fire?
His name
No,
was Fire.
it was Burns.
Oh,
Burns.
Edward
Burns.
Burns.
Edward Burns.
Okay,
And
attorney at
Associates.
law.
That's
Yeah,
right.
That's right. Arson attorney at law. Yeah. Arborist. Avid arborist. I don't know how to get this answer. So, like, did I get it? Like, I don't know. Like, is that the correct thing?
Sure.
Yay!
All right, last one. Misheard lyric. It doesn't make a difference if we're naked or not.
Doesn't make a difference if we're naked or not. We got each other, and that's a lot for love. We'll give it a shot.
We're halfway there. Oh, lizard on a chair. I love all the repeats of that wizard on the stairs. Those are so good. I say give him the points on that.
Point for Jacob.
For the bear.
Yeah, there's like a whole list of the meme answers for that, and I dig it. Grief in therapy. Hey, Pod Therapy crew. Fellow therapist here. I'm in a bit of a bind and thought this might resonate with others, both in and out of the field, so here it goes. The universe has apparently decided it's grief season in my caseload. In the past couple weeks, I've had an influx of clients, some brand new, some I've known for years, suddenly facing devastating, life-altering losses. Here's the problem. While I understand and lean into the common factors, my main theory is solution-focused brief therapy.
Love it.
And the usual tools, finding exceptions, the miracle question, goal setting, feel completely wrong in the face of earth-shattering grief. Yesterday, I sat with a long-term client describing a shocking loss, and it hit me. I have no idea how to write a treatment plan for this, set meaningful goals, or even if I should, or help beyond just sitting in the pain with them. So, my big question, how do humans work through grief that feels like it exists outside of time? And as a therapist, how do I walk with them through it in a way that's actually helpful? Any wisdom, strategies, or resources would be so greatly appreciated. Thanks, Anonotherapist. Pronouns are she and her.
Ooh, a lady.
Get my Cavothier.
I used to have this problem a lot with. I think for a lot of I don't know a non-therapist's level of experience, but I've had this experience with like a lot of interns, or folks that are new with solution-focused brief therapy.
Yes.
The trap that you can easily run into with the miracle question.
Yes. Hey,
So-
this is not the time for that question.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
You can still use the miracle question, but
Right.
you have to set it up and you
Right.
have to word it a particular way. So for those of you who don't know what the miracle question is, so solution-focused brief therapy is a great philosophy in therapy. I love it. It's probably the thing that I've spent the most amount of time on.
Yeah.
Probably even more than CBT, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And SFBT is kind of it's one of those where you can use solution-focused brief therapy, but it almost feels more than just a technique. It's almost kind of a mindset.
It's a
that you can
perspective.
have.
Yeah.
Perspective, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so the miracle question, essentially, if I were to summarize it, so the let me back up first. So solution-focused brief therapy, a lot of it is kind of coming back to this idea that there's always exceptions,
Right.
to everything, and the exceptions are where we find the keys to success. So there was I remember in one of the books, I think it was written by Stephen DeShazar, who's one of the founding guys of SFBT, where he's talking about like this old like Chinese proverb or whatever. We're talking about like the utility of a vessel isn't in the hull, but it's in the empty space between.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you imagine like a boat, what really makes a boat float and function on the water is it's the empty space in between the hull, right?
Mm-hmm.
That anyway, I'm not going to go too, you get it. So the idea behind this is that we spend so much time looking at problems and how do we fix the problem that we ignore all of the exceptions. So if I have a client that is constantly depressed, except on this one day they weren't depressed.
Or maybe anger might be maybe one that's a little bit easier to focus on.
So anger.
So they come in, they say, Nick, I'm always angry.
Always
I'm yelling at my kids. I'm yelling at my boss. I need to get this under control. I'm destroying my life.
Then what we do is we find a time. Tell me about a time you weren't angry.
Right.
Yep. Tell me about a time that you didn't lose your temper with your children.
Right.
Tell me about a time that blah, blah, blah. And you try to find all of these exceptions. And then we try to figure out what's the common thread in all of this.
We reverse engineer a solution out of that. Yeah.
So whatever the problem is, if you're addicted to meth, you're not a perfect addict.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
There are times.
No matter what you do, you will never do anything perfectly. So there's going to be a time where you didn't use meth.
Right.
Tell me about that time. Right?
That we find that fascinating.
Yes.
And it's not when we frame it this way, it can come off oversimplified. It's really not. It's a very nuanced, gentle approach that doesn't oversimplify the problem into, but there was one time you didn't do it, so let's just copy and paste that.
Yeah.
Not at all. But we want to instill a lot of hope. We want to empower the client to find their own unique twist on the solution. We don't want it to be formulaic.
And implementing it wouldn't look at all like what I just did.
Right. No, yeah. This is the front of the cover. Yeah, we're just reading it out to you.
The behind the scenes.
The nuanced, and pairing it with
versions.
things like motivational interviewing and other techniques go hand in hand with it. It's really like practical. It's a very practical, let's look at what you're doing. Let's look at what we can change. Let's make a small degree of change, and let's focus on what we want to see differently tomorrow. It's very, very practical, which really breaks down fast when we're talking about grief.
So the miracle question is a technique, a way to help identify the exceptions, except not exceptions that have already happened, but really kind of looking at what would this look like if the problem was gone?
Right. It's a way to draw a very stark contrast into what change needs to look like and feel like in your life. Because a lot of times patients don't know. They come in and say, I don't know, I'm unhappy.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, what do you mean you're unhappy? Well, my life's not going very well. So what do you want out of therapy? I want you to fix my life. Okay, this is getting really rough.
Yeah.
So we ask the miracle question to help them illuminate what it is that would actually look different.
Essentially, again, another Reader's Digest version of this would be if to be able to say, okay, so as you're thinking about this problem, let's just say a miracle occurred and this problem is gone. What would be different about your life?
Yeah, you wake up tomorrow morning and there's a bright light in your room and it speaks to you in a soft voice and it says, all your troubles that you were worried about, that you were going to go to therapy about, those have been resolved, and then it flickers away. And then you think, holy shit, how high was I last night that I just saw this thing? Did I just hallucinate this thing? But then something inside of you thinks, what if that's real? What if that voice was telling me the truth? You start going through your day and you start noticing things that have changed in your life. What do you see that's different that confirms that voice was telling the truth? How are you different? How's your life different? How's your family different? How do you feel different? What would you notice that's different?
So there's a lot of different techniques, because if you just throw that out there and say, let's say I'm in therapy because I'm grieving because my mother died.
Right.
And like they threw out the miracle question, miracle happened, what would be different? Well, my mom
didn't die.
and then as a therapist, yes, you're exactly in that. You're like, fuck, shit.
Okay.
Because there's nothing I can do with
I'd like
that.
to try again, please.
Completely fucked up that.
Okay, new miracle. Mom's definitely dead.
So
I'm getting around that.
There are different ways.
God is mostly powerful, not all powerful.
Okay, there are rules with the genie. No raising anybody from the dead. Can't make anybody fall in love with anybody else.
Aladdin rules.
Aladdin rules.
So there are ways, there's a million different ways of utilizing a miracle question. I can think of 10 different ways that I used it on a regular basis. And have you ever, Jim, have you ever done a yes set?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a really useful skill to like keep it going and draw it out.
Okay, so Jacob.
All right.
Okay, so going to movies, right? So think about like movies. Like we kind of got out of going to the theater during COVID, but and it sucked because
It's nice though, because you, me, and Whitney have been going a lot.
Yeah.
And that's been a lot of fun.
That's true.
Bitch.
Yeah.
But I love the experience of going to a movie.
Sure.
Right? I love being able to like go there. I like being able to walk in. I like even like getting the anticipation, getting the snacks, sitting down, waiting, and then the lights kind of dim, and then that THX sound comes in,
and
you're
Nicole
just like,
Kidman comes on the screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I did is a yes set.
Right.
Okay. So what it is it's a technique where I'm slowly naming off things and I'm getting the person to say yes, 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 which increases the likelihood that they're going to say yes to the next thing. Right. So
you're steering them in a positive direction.
Exactly.
With agreement.
So you can do a miracle question, but you should really kind of lead up to it with a yes set.
Right.
And create a way of doing this. So like I always used to do this with working with people and just kind of saying like, you remember like when you were a kid and you didn't have a care in the world and you could just be outside just playing all day, and you're going to your mom calls you in, it's time to go to bed, and you have one of those nice night sleeps where as soon as you put your pillow to the bed, you're just out and you sleep soundly. If you were to imagine tonight that you have a night like that and you have a sleep exactly like that, and in the middle of the night a miracle occurred and you woke up the next morning, but because this miracle happened while you were sleeping, you had no idea, what would be the first indicator to you that's something
it's
new?
It's a great way to set it up.
Yeah. And so it kind of slowly builds up to it, as opposed to just saying, let's say a miracle happened. If you do that, then you've lost them. Right.
Yeah.
So you can phrase a miracle question in the sense of like, we are not changing anything that has already happened.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything has happened up to this point. Now what?
Yeah.
And you kind of have to be creative, but you have to frame it. You have to set the rules first.
Now we invent a way to bring my mother back to life.
It's always going to come back to that. But no, that is the real difficulty of trying to use solution-focused therapy on trauma because it is very tangible. It is very practical. It's very here and now. What is happening? What was going wrong? How can we do something slightly different? Even the miracle question is designed to contrast in real practical lived experiences. Here's what change would look like. We're ultimately trying to discover, elicit, and amplify change. But when you're dealing with trauma, as the writer's talking about, change isn't the goal. Healing is the goal.
Okay.
Experiencing, encountering.
I feel like you're moving away from the miracle question too quickly.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. You can still use the miracle question in that sense.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you another scenario. All right, so writer, you can use this one too. This is another favorite of mine. Okay, where
Ancient Chinese proverb.
ancient Chinese proverb.
Man who run in front of car get tired.
This is the walk in the park. Okay, so I want you to. We're just going to do kind of a vision imagination thing here real quick. So I want you to imagine that you're walking through the park. Okay, and it's a beautiful day. It's one of those perfect days. Is there music going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chicken
cool,
dance.
perfect.
Yeah.
Is it the fucking chicken dance?
You don't hear it? It's great.
No, I can't hear it.
There you go.
Okay, you're fucking killing this whole thing.
That's what it does. It just slashes tires.
We're going for a walk, and it's a beautiful day. It's like the perfect day. Temperature's right. Sun's shining. It's amazing. But you can't really enjoy this day. And you can't enjoy the day because of the grief that you're feeling, because of all of the problems that you're dealing with right now. And it's just weighing you down. So you decide that you just need to sit for a minute. And so you see this park bench. You sit there. You're dealing with all of this heavy stuff. You're upset that you can't enjoy the day. You don't even realize that next to you is an elderly person, and this person's in their 80s. You kind of realize that this person's there. You don't really think anything of it. You're just so caught up in your emotions. And then you kind of look over. You see this person, and this person's looking back at you, and you realize that you're sitting next to your future self. You're sitting next to you at 80 years old. They know exactly what you're going through. They know the grief that you're dealing with. They know the pain that you're going through. They got a big smile on their face. They slide over. They put their arm around you, and they say what?
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just another version of the miracle question, right?
If we fuck right now, it's just masturbation.
I know you want this. You know I want this. You know that I know that you want this.
It's not gay. It's just us.
So it's just another version of the miracle question, except we've changed it. We've reframed it in a way that you're not changing the past. We're 100% recognizing that this absolutely sucks and this is not going to go away.
I love that. I think you painted it beautifully. And I think that is a great illustration of how this technique still has value in trauma work. And I would agree with you. Where I would continue the conversation is that, to me, the miracle question has a lot of great value for me, at least the way that I apply SFBT. Kind of in the beginning of encountering what ails us and setting a stage, helping me form a treatment plan and kind of mapping out the quest, right? Where do we want to go? And setting goalposts. What does success look like? That's kind of where I draw that for me. Where I can appreciate the writer as well, though, is that solution-focused brief therapy is very task-oriented and is very goal-driven, and a lot of the other, like exception finding and goal setting and scaling and things like that, are very much about eliciting and finding change and measuring progress. What is difficult about grief and trauma healing is that in many ways, and we've used other metaphors to talk about trauma in the past. We've talked about the ball in the room with the button, and every time the button is compressed, you feel the pain. In the beginning, the ball is really large, and over time, this ball like shrinks in size, but it keeps bouncing around. And every time it compresses against that button, it still hurts. Even when it's golf ball sized, it doesn't happen very often, but eventually it finds the button again. I think those metaphors kind of communicate this more realistic approach in grieving and trauma work that sort of prepares the patient for the understanding that we're not going to build a ladder to climb out of this pit. We're going to wander in this very terrible space, and we're going to go through your 9 levels of hell. There is no stopwatch. There is no way to time this. I don't want to push you in a way that SFBT often does, that kind of nudges you toward progress, elicits optimism, elicits hope. Trauma's weird and grieving's weird because in many ways they have to go through just breathing in and holding the pain. And that's part of it. And there is no like practical way to expedite that, but the work is happening. And Ryder, I guess that's where I would join Nick as far as like offering you some real practical advice, therapist to therapist, how to treat this patient. You talk about like, how do I even design treatment planning for this? I'm a big fan of the text that I make a lot of my students purchase. It's called the Complete Adult Psychotherapy Treatment Planner. It's published by Wiley.
I thought for sure you were going to say Dad Vice.
Dad Vice. 55
I make a lot of my
lessons.
students purchase Dad Vice.
This is just a bunch of stories about getting groceries at a hardware store.
It's about treatment planning for trauma.
This is just a book for people with children.
No, goddamn. Anyway, so get that planner. There's a whole chapter in there about ways to frame treatment goals and objectives that surround trauma processing and grieving. And also what I really like about that book is it also indicates to the therapist, here are evidence-based practices that we use when we're dealing with trauma. Here's probably the recommended playbook. At the end of the day, I think Nick and I, we do a lot of trauma work. There's a lot of trauma work in addictions. Solution-focused brief therapy, motivational interviewing, I think of these not as sets of strategies. I think of them as perspectives, like you said. Yeah. I think of them as a dialect, a way that we just naturally talk. But we also know how to weave that into true trauma work. Mm-hmm. And trauma work is walking through history, processing the memories, hot tears on cheeks, remembering pain, and then gliding into life, and then talking about their pumpkin spice latte that they got and how they're looking forward to the fall and how excited they are. And then all of a sudden their breath leaves them and they suddenly look blankly into the sky. And here you are talking to them in therapy and they say, this person I miss loved this time of year. I remember the first time I bought them a pumpkin spice latte. They'd never had one. And like, there isn't quite a solution-focused technique or maneuver that I would really want a therapist to deploy in that moment. I want you to switch your skill set. I want you to just do person-centered therapy, right? I want you to go full Rogerian. I want you to lean into the therapeutic alliance. I want you to follow them through trauma. I want you to create space, be curious, do a lot of intuitive work about them, like going into the memories, probing deep questions. Trauma timelines, I think, have a lot of value in this kind of scene. But grieving, the best model that I've ever found for grieving in therapy is a reference to like ancient Judaism. They have a practice called Shiva, and I think it's still practiced, but it's the way that they do funerals and grieving, where family and friends sit with a grieving person and imagine the pain coming out of this person like a black billowing smoke that's filling up the room. And those who love you are physically in your presence, breathing this hot smoke into their lungs on your behalf, so that with every breath there's a little bit less in the room and we're just in it together. And to me, when I do grieving therapy and trauma therapy, that's often what it looks like. It's just bonding with this person, walking through hell with them, keeping their head above water if I can, sprinkling in those solution-focused techniques, being optimistic, using things like your framing of the miracle question to also remind them, one day you will get through this. One day you will heal. But also, you'll never be the same as you were before this trauma. Right. It will fundamentally change you.
I think with a lot of my approaches, they don't... If you were an outsider looking in onto any of my therapy sessions, if I'm working with grief, you would say, oh, Nick has switched gears. He's using something different.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But in reality, I'm not.
Because it's fundamentally always your style.
Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm changing the approach of how it's being used, or I'm moving the goalposts.
Okay.
So like, for example, when it comes to treatment planning, you've heard me say it, I'm like huge into treatment planning.
I've heard.
That's my thing, right? Now, if you actually look at a treatment plan that I would be developing for someone in a situation like this, from an outsider's perspective, you may say, this is way different than your typical treatment plan. And it's really not. It's just the focus has different. It has changed. As opposed to creating a treatment plan based off of like progress in overall functioning,
right,
or increasing functioning or decreasing symptoms, right? Instead of that, the treatment plan is going to be more exploratory.
Right.
It's going to be like, hey, we're not going to do anything.
Right.
What we're going to do is we're going to sit and we're going to explore.
I'm really glad
and
you're
we're going to
saying
feel
this.
comfortable with where we're at.
Yes.
And then we can start moving.
Yeah, like if we were languaging that, and I was actually going to pull up the text of that planner because I have it on my phone, but I don't want to take the time to let it load. But yeah, like an example treatment goal that we might have for somebody dealing with anxiety is Nick will decrease episodes of anxiety severity by 50% 3 days a week or whatever. And these very measurable things, these units of measurement. But with trauma, we really don't. You know, we tend to say things more like, Nick's ability to cognate and process the pain and emotions, to be able to name those emotions and cope with them in healthy ways will increase. You know, like he's just going to do the fucking work. And really it's just we're going to climb down into hell together and we're going to learn how to sit in the smoke for longer and longer until there's less and less of it. And that's it. And like the treatment plan language, this is why I like that planner, because it really does have great phrasing for that to you know, conceptualize that. But I'm really glad you brought that up, because I think this goes to your point of like people would think that you're not doing solution focused work. You really are, but you're also changing what the purpose of it is and what your intentions are. It's not to cease using meth. It's not to be less angry. I don't want to see you do less trauma pain. That's not the goal. The goal is we're going to get every last drop of this until you have done it.
Yeah, because sometimes, you know, in therapy, it's all about moving and it's about going someplace. Well, sometimes it's useful to just sit and let's get our bearings straight. Let's figure out where we're at first.
Yes.
You know, and then we can kind of move.
There is no fast way through this.
Yeah.
There is just the correct way. And like you think of, we've talked in the past about crisis intervention and debriefing and like meeting with first responders. I do it every night. There it is. And you know,
thanks, I forgot you were here.
When we go through like really traumatic events and we like sit with those people and process what they've been through, it's really not a race. There's no method. There's no way to build a ladder faster. It's just be with that human, let them process this whenever it arrives, grieve it in an honest and organic way, confide in language and metabolize these memories, these thoughts, these feelings. And they may have to do that as many times as they need to. And then eventually the suffering is made less through the process. And that's it. And if you've done that, writer, you've been a therapist. You've joined that person, and it's really hard as a therapist. The trauma work is one of the hardest things that we do, and it's one of the areas that most therapists will admit to each other we feel the least effective at, we feel the most powerless in, because it's very hard to measure our success. In addictions work, when your person is sober and their relapse plan is strong and they're making good choices and you can measure all these great things, you can start to feel like, wow, I'm really good at this, and like I know exactly what plays this person needs and how to increase their motivation and their stage of change from A to B. But with trauma work, it's really hard to know, because when we descend into the grief of hell with them, I don't know how far we have to go. I don't know where north is. We're just wandering through this horrible fucking experience, and I'm hoping and I'm holding on to this idea in the back of my head that eventually we will see a glimmer of light through the fog and we'll start walking toward that. But as a therapist, few things feel more powerless than joining somebody with trauma work and grieving, but few things are more beautiful and more rewarding in this career than to have walked through hell with somebody and get them to the other side of that. Because few humans, I think, have the natural attending skills and the training and the patience and the intuition to walk with somebody through that. So, writer, you might feel powerless. You might not know what your strategies are. You might be like, God damn, I wish I had a playbook. I promise you, if you lean in on your person-centered skills, if you use solution-focused thinking and optimism as just a fundamental perspective without allowing that to accidentally become dismissive of this person or to accelerate this person in any direction, if you're just patient with them and you're present with them and you let them language what they're going through and be curious about that, you will eventually arrive on the other side, and they'll get there and they'll feel better. And they'll move on as best as they can. But also don't make it a goal to restore them to who they were before this loss. That's not the goal. That can't be done. You cannot unring the fucking bell. All you can do is help them discover who they are on the other side of this trauma. That's it. And hopefully it's manageable for them. But good luck, writer. I'm glad to have you in the field. I think you're asking really great questions. And please, continue to follow up with us, give us feedback. We love just hearing from colleagues and just trying to do the best coaching we can. If you're not already in the Discord, I strongly encourage you to be in it. We have a lot of other colleagues, a lot of other therapists, a lot of students that, have gotten tangled up with this damn podcast, and they love to comment and give feedback. And a lot of people who've been through therapy and been through this kind of stuff, and they'll have feedback for this question too. And so every single question we have in the Discord, it turns into a case study of listeners kind of giving their 2 cents. So if you want more thoughts, more feedback, I really encourage you, patreon.com/therapy. Throw $1 in the hat. We won't even see it. Patreon will get it. But you'll at least get access to the Discord, and then you can kind of see what other people discuss related to this question. But good luck with this one, Anon, a therapist. Glad to have you in the field. We are going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're talking about a positive thing finally, losing desire in my marriage. You're listening to Pod Therapy's happiest episode.
Simplifies things.
Today's episode is brought to you by Judy Schneider, Leon Kasab, Carolyn Albert, Sammy Scoop, Sarah Smith, Mike Helm, Darren Cunningham, Cody the DeLorean Guy, Brady Malachik, and Max the Ginger Scoop. And if you would like to sponsor the show, become a therapist at patreon.com/therapy.
Whoa!
All right, we're doing cryptids, myths, and oddities.
Ooh.
True.
Am I saying that right? Cryptids?
I think
That feels
so.
right.
Okay.
I think it's pronounced crypto. I think 1 unit of crypto is a cryptid.
No.
Is that not it?
No.
Okay. Then I think I'm off.
Bigfoot's a cryptid.
Oh, like Bigfoot coin.
Right.
Okay.
That's it. Now you're caught up.
I got it.
Okay.
Take my
All
money.
right. Jim, what is the name of Scotland's legendary lake monster?
Oh, Nessie.
Oh, yeah. Got it on the fly.
All right.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Last name?
Smith.
That's
I
it?
believe.
No.
Oh,
it's
shit.
Scotland. It's got to be O'Callahan or...
Oh, yeah. O'Callahan. Yeah.
Is that Scottish? I know it's more Irish.
Yeah, whatever. They're all the
Anyway,
same. Who
doesn't matter.
cares?
All right, Jacob. The Yeti is most associated with which mountain range?
Oh, shit.
The Alps, I think.
Oh, the German ones? Or the Swiss? Is that the Swiss Alps?
I think it's the Swiss Alps.
Can I get a rebound if he's wrong?
Yes, you can.
I think it's the Himalayas.
It is the Himalayas.
The Himalayas.
It is.
All right.
Fucking yes! Let's go!
Okay. What's the capital of Portugal?
Fuck!
Portugal
City.
All right, Jim. Which South American cryptid is rumored to drain livestock?
Oh,
of their
chupacabra.
blood?
Chupacabra. Goat sucker. Let's go. Dude, I'm pretty good at this cryptid
Yeah, you're
shit.
like the Rain Man. of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
You're
We found what you're good at.
I watch a lot of like History Channel, but not the parts that are about history.
Right.
The shit that's
History
like
Channel-
UFOs and like this shit's real.
I don't think they have a history part
No, no,
anymore.
no.
No, that's been gone for years.
Yeah. So whatever the fuck I'm watching is sponsored by or created by the History Channel. It is just this shit. It's like,
Yeah.
did aliens build Egypt? And I'm fucking deep into
The
that.
answer is always yes.
Yes. Yes. Dude, they did. They did. The pyramids align with the stars, man. And the fucking goat thing is real. All this shit's real. These are not. These
Nobody
are not
questioned
fake
if
things.
goats were real or not.
No, the goat sucker thing. It's a
Are
vampire.
goats real?
Sucks on goats.
Jacob, which hairy humanoid is the Canadian counterpart to Bigfoot?
Oh, I know this one. It's Bigfoot A.
Bigfoot, eh?
Yeah. The Mountie Bigfoot.
Right, right.
About?
So there's a big hat,
I believe it's Big Meter.
flat brim hat. Very polite.
Mountie Bigfoot.
Yeah,
He's the metric
That's
system.
what I'm going at Scoop Fest.
yeah. Meter foot.
That's right. Big meter. They don't do feet.
Oh,
I don't know.
you want options?
Sure.
Skunk ape, Yowie, Sasquatch, orange panatic.
I've heard
Pendic.
skunk ape. I've heard those words said in that order before.
Yeah.
I'll
I've
go
never-
skunk ape.
No.
No.
I'm going to go Sasquatch.
It is
I just
Sasquatch.
feel like that's the layup.
okay.
Like if it's not Skunk Ape, it's... But the reason I know that is because there's a shampoo I buy from Target called Sasquatch, and he looks Canadian. And so my brain is like, oh yeah, that guy. I think there might be a Canada flag on it. Might be
Really?
a Canadian shampoo. Yeah. I also
What
buy
does
their conditioner.
Canadian look like to you? Someone looks Canadian.
What does a Canadian person look like to me?
Yeah.
Celine Dion.
Oh, okay.
Justin Bieber. That's all I got.
Oh, this is bullshit. A
Alanis
skunk ape is
Morissette.
just a different cryptid.
Ah,
It's just
buddy.
a different. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Last
Swing and a
last
miss.
one. Last two. Which cryptid from West Virginia reportedly has glowing red eyes and large wings?
Ooh.
Go for it.
The Mothman.
Oh.
Thank you, Paul Mattingly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, did you ever see Mothman Prophecies with Richard Gere? Scared the living shit out of me as a kid.
I'm pretty sure I did, yeah.
Oh, God, it was so bad. It was like bad and scary.
This one I didn't know. Which Pacific Northwest legend tells of shape-shifting witch often associated with coyotes or wolves?
I think it's the Skinwalkers, and I've seen them. They're in Death Valley, and I've fucking bumped into them. Death Valley and Valley of Fire. They're everywhere in fucking Valley of Fire.
Okay,
Point of order, when Jim told the story originally, he did not report having seen them.
No.
He reported having heard them.
I heard them. They tried to talk
A
me out of
moment
my
ago,
tent.
you said,
they were
you've
calling
seen them.
for a mother. There were no moms. It was all dudes. It was a Boy Scout camp, and they were calling mommy, and it was clearly a fucking Skinwalker trying to call me out of my tent.
Clearly.
So fucking kill me.
I'm going to give you 2 points for getting it right on the fly. I'm taking away a 1 point
Okay.
for claiming to having heard one.
Oh, no, you're silly.
Yeah.
No, this is real,
He
bud.
claimed to have seen one.
I came home from the
You're right.
camp out and
Negative 2
told you.
points.
Well, I don't know if I saw one, but I mean, that's how
I
that
do.
works.
I know if you saw one.
You don't know if you see them.
I know if you saw
Was
it.
that a guy? Was it a Skinwalker? Like, that's the
Was
whole
it just a
fucking
dying
point.
child?
Was it a kid who needed help? I'll never
Yes,
fucking have to
it
know about
was.
it because I did not get out of my
According
ass.
to the newspapers, the next day it was.
Which I think was published by the Skinwalkers.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all part of their propaganda, dude. You have no idea how high this goes. okay?
SW Press.
That's right. This is so deep. This goes all the way to the top. These fucking Skinwalkers are trying to get me out of my tent. Not falling for it. I believe I am in a commanding lead in this trivia challenge.
You just
today.
lost 3 points.
Nope.
Yeah.
Losing
Plus you
desire.
inherited Whitney's, which was like
Negative.
5.
Oh, good. I have a debt.
You're almost out of the hole.
Right now, you owe me and Nick both $8.
Shit. Losing desire in my marriage. Hello, Pod Therapy. I've come to realize at the ripe age of 55 that I am on the autism spectrum. Additionally, I am postmenopausal. Not to make you uncomfortable, but I think this is important information. I've been somewhat happily married for nearly 30 years. Except for the first year or so, I've questioned what love really is. I don't have the desire to be intimate physically or emotionally. I've always known that this isn't normal, but being the people pleaser that I have always been, I've tried to fake it the best I can. Lately, I just can't fake it anymore. I've read that the decrease in estrogen and progesterone can cause women to lose their desire to nurture. I'm not sure if that is the case or I just don't have the energy to mask and people please like I have for the last 55 years. No matter the case, it's taking a serious toll on my marriage. He can't understand what is going on, and no explanation on my part is getting through. I still love him, whatever that means, and still like seeing him happy, but he's clearly not. He keeps asking what he's done wrong, and he can't accept that it is me, not him. I've offered to go to marriage counseling, which he doesn't want to do, or divorce. I don't know what I'm actually asking you for, but maybe just getting this off my chest in hopes that others might get something out of it. Thanks, Anonymous.
We get this question a lot.
Yeah. This one's interesting, I think, because we've definitely over the years had people say there's a disconnect with my desire or my libido, my marriage, it's been 30 years, things are changing. Where I think this letter is special is I'm hearing the writer say, I am aware that I am on the autistic spectrum, and throughout my life, I've sort of tried to mask or pretend not to be. And now I'm finally done pretending. So I'm letting a genuine version of myself out. It turns out that version of myself is not as engaged emotionally. And I'm postmenopausal. There's hormonal changes. Maybe that's contributing to this. So I'm kind of hearing the writer just sort of saying like, look, this is a weird spot for me because I do care about this person. And in some ways I am kind of indifferent. But in some ways, like, this is organically my
sounds
truth.
like sex was never a real motivator.
Right.
It just never was. And so
Yeah.
it sounds like the only thing that has changed is just the desire to kind of fake that.
Right. And emotional intimacy, too. The writer does say a little bit of both, that it's definitely not physical anymore and also just I'm good. And the writer almost saying, like, I'm kind of detaching from the concept of love right now. Like, I'm not even sure what it means to be in love with my person. I care for them and I want them to be happy, but like I don't have what they need from me.
Man, if you don't know what love is, listener, I've got good news for you about a lot of music in the 80s.
Oh, that'll help.
You can go down a really deep rabbit hole about just what is love.
Yeah.
I want to know what love is.
Yep.
I need you to show me. I think this could just be the whole fucking episode. I think we just break into songs. I think we could do.
We have a drum set.
This is true. And a keyboard.
If
Can
only
we get some
had,
synth?
If we just had one person who knew how to play it.
I mean, I got one beat in me. I could just do.
I don't even have that. Yeah, this is a tough one. And I mean, from your partner's perspective, you know, it is difficult to be that partner because anybody who's hearing this is going to some level internalize it.
Yeah, right.
And think about like, okay, well, what am I doing wrong? It's like,
Right.
well, it's not you. I'm going through all of these things. Okay, but you could be going through all these things. If I was a better person, maybe I would be doing something. Maybe it wouldn't be like this, or you know,
Right.
did I contribute to this? And this, I think, is just a normal human reaction.
Right.
When event happens, we internalize cause.
Sure.
So, like, what did I do to create this thing to happen?
And fundamentally, we're in a relationship, right? And so, like, if your dynamic toward me and your interest in me has changed, it is not crazy for me to intuit I've contributed to this equation somehow. Like, so I've gotten too old for you, or our dynamic has changed, or whatever. And it's really tough because, like, you know, whether autism is part of this, whether postmenopausal is part of this, it is just an extremely relatable phenomenon that a lot of people, as they age, will talk about losing libido. I think that's very, you know, par for the course, but also sometimes feeling emotionally distant. I mean, I was looking up a statistic the other day, and I didn't confirm this data, but I was talking to another therapist who was sort of quoting it at me. And they said something to the effect of like 70% of divorces after age 40 are initiated by women. And like the logic of that being that as women kind of age, some of their hormonal shifts and some of their life changes, just becoming increasingly independent and sort of like, you know, I like you fine, but like I don't need you in my life. I kind of create my own social space. Like you're just around, you know, and like at some point kind of detaching a little bit. And the writer says, maybe I'm losing my nurturing. And like there's some of those like bonds are just kind of, they deteriorate. And a lot of women become very independent and sort of say like, for one reason or another, I think I'm just drifting away from my partner. And, you know, for a lot of those men, that's scary, you know, like, oh no, I'm losing my partner. What's going on? Is it me? Can I make it right? And of course your partner's going to have irritable things they want to say, like, yeah, I wish you'd do the dishes more. Or, you know, I don't like this, or, you know, I don't like you say this to me. But like it is an organic reality. And I guess I just want to like refer to that data a little bit to normalize what the writer's going through, but that doesn't make it easier, right?
Yeah.
And doesn't make this dynamic easier. I love that the writer's bringing up couples therapy. I think it's tough, but par for the course. So the writer said, do you want to talk about divorce? And husband's like, I don't, and I don't want to go to couples therapy. I just want to fix this. Like, I want to know what I can do to make you like me again.
Right. Go to therapy.
And you know, it's tough too, because like, I think at best we teach spouse through psychoeducation. Let's maybe teach you about autism, right? Like it turns out you've been married to autism this whole time. This person is just now figuring this out about themselves. They finally discovered the language. They finally figured out the symptoms. And there's going to be things about them that they didn't hide from you, that you've sort of known about them all along, that you thought were just interesting little quirky personality traits. And now when we tell you what autism is, you go, oh, yeah, okay, that's her. Yep, that's definitely her to some extent. Well, other manifestations of that can also look like this. And like, this is where maybe that was hidden from you because it had more to do with your dynamic and your relationship. And now this person's not hiding it. But it's an interesting thing, Nick, because it kind of opens up this question. And I think we've kind of wrestled with this on the show before, that like, our mental health realities are complex, and we also want to be mindful of how they do affect our relationships, because relationships have intrinsic value. And like, we do want us to negotiate that space. And that's tricky because on one hand, I think there's a desire to let people be authentic and not have them mask. I think that's a phrase that's been used a lot with autism and with ADHD and neurodiversity, is people feeling that they have to ape and pretend to be like the normies when that's just not their truth. And it becomes very draining and hurtful over time. And so on one hand, we want people to be authentic. But on the other hand, we don't want them to detonate all their relationships, raising this flag of individualism, because there's got to be room too for your human ecosystem. And like all of us are compromising with our human ecosystem all the time. Like I don't want to be a dad sometimes. I don't want to, go to this kid's game or whatever. Like I want to go just do my own thing. And like I'm compromising my authentic needs and my authentic self to be a good father, because being a good father means something to me and their happiness means something to me. And you could say, well, you're faking it, Jim. That's not healthy for you. And I'd be open to talking through that. I'd be open to finding moderation between both of those values that are very important to me. I want to be authentic. I don't want to mask. I don't want to be forced as a square peg into a round hole. But at the same time, I don't want to abandon, and I don't want to like discard the needs of my loved ones who need me to be certain things in their life. And I don't necessarily feel that that's bad or wrong. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
It does.
I mean, it's to some degree. There's no avoiding that. Like everybody has to wrestle with that to some degree. Because I mean, you think about things like, if Laura is inviting me someplace, she's got friends in town,
sure,
right? And so they're all going to go out, and they're all bringing their husbands, so I should go with. They're going to go do something that I have no interest in doing.
And you're like, hey, I'm an introvert. I don't do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to go out.
I don't want to do this thing that they want to do. Okay. But I want her to have a good time.
Right.
And I know that if I go there and just act like a total diva,
yes,
that she's not going to have a good time. And I could ruin this.
Right.
So for me, it's not necessarily about me pretending to be somebody else. What it is it's me doing what I need to do so that she enjoys the experience.
I love how you're phrasing that. I almost would add to that, it's not so much faking, it's finding a version of me, because I live on a very broad spectrum.
Yeah.
Right? There are colors in my palette that look introverted and anxious and scared and shy. There's colors in my palette that's the guy up on stage speaking at a conference. I can summon different versions of myself to hopefully adapt to the people I love and the situation and its requirements. I may not be able to do that indefinitely, but like hopefully I can enough to maintain those relationships. Kind of like that's what you're saying.
Every Sunday night, Jacob taps into a version of himself that gives a shit about this podcast.
He's doing it deep in his soul. He
wait,
reaches into the bones. Shit.
He's gone.
I think he's locking the door. I think he's turning off the lights.
But no, I think I that is a better way of putting that, I think, is just to be like, okay, there's a version of me that just enjoys spending time with her and her friends.
Right.
Tonight, I'm going to be that person.
I'm going to find that part. And I really resonate with the writer, because I've definitely talked to people over the years, especially as we've learned so much more about neurodiversity. And, this writer's saying, look, I'm 55 years old. This is an interesting generation to be, because I feel like young people today, we're introducing them to this conversation of what is autism spectrum, what is ADHD at a much younger age. And we've created a lot more public education about that in schools. We've learned how to identify it in females, especially. The writer identifies as female, whereas that generation, girls did not get any of that language. And when it finally showed up, autism and like neurodiversity, the field struggled forever to like discuss this, categorize this, name this. Even autism spectrum disorder is relatively new in our nomenclature. I mean, what was the phrase we used to use for like high functioning autism? It just jumped out of my head. Asperger's. Yeah. For the longest, that was our like diet autism diagnosis, right? And it was almost predominantly men or boys that would be diagnosed with it. We just missed all these female features of this neurodiversity. And so I appreciate for the writer at 55 years old, this person has always been who they are, and is only now, probably in this more recent, era of time, discovering the words and the education to finally look in the mirror and say, that's what I am. Oh my goodness. And then learning from that community, hey, people in our community, people like us, we tend to do these things to survive in this world. It's exhausting. And if you've ever struggled in these ways, we relate to you. And I can appreciate that the writers look at that going, fuck, yes, I have. And I get that there's this sense of like, I'm tired of being put upon. I'm tired of other people's needs. I'm tired of being like having to live my life in this fake and inauthentic way. that everybody else matters all the time. So I want to honor that emotional exhaustion while also honoring you've invested 3 decades of your life building a relationship with somebody. You have a shared history. You probably have a shared family. You have a shared future if you want it. There's hopefully room to get into that middle space with them because they're not your enemy, right? It sounds like your husband's crime is that he loves you and he wants to be close to you. And, I don't want to villainize that. I don't think you're villainizing that. I think you're just exhausted. I think you're emotionally exhausted. You're tired of putting on the makeup and trying to pretend. But at the same time, I think we have to at least allow your husband to meet the new version of you, the unmasked version of you, to clarify these misunderstandings. Hopefully, I wish he would talk to the therapist with you and do marriage counseling. That would be a great space to teach him about this. If you're willing to teach him, Ryder, if he's open to learning more about this with you, there are books, that are out there that are for friends and family members and spouses of those who are neurodivergent to try to give them education and tips. Maybe that kind of stuff would be helpful. And Ryder, you kind of unburdened us at the end of your question and said, look, guys, I'm not expecting you to pull a rabbit out of your hat and tell me this one weird trick. And hopefully we're chewing on it with you enough and relating on it with you that, we're normalizing this and at least, normalizing your experience and giving you some honest feedback. But I'm glad to see that you're not just hitting the eject button and running away. I've seen people do that, and they yearn for it because they feel like it's going to liberate them and like they're somehow finally acknowledging who they really are. More times than not, when I see people take that path, I see it ends up being a manifestation of self-sabotage. It doesn't end up being what they really wanted. It just kind of is this deep inner yearning and confusion. And I kind of want them to talk through that, in therapy, and just navigate that water, change other things in their lives. Other knobs and dials need to turn before they just nuke relationships, especially long ones like this.
Yeah.
But hey, there's also such thing as authentic truth. And there's a time when some people wake up 30 years in and say, you know what, I've realized I don't want to be married anymore. And I just legitimately don't want that. And it's okay, just proceed with caution, a lot of deliberation, a lot of intentional measuring, a lot of thinking through it, and a lot of discussion with your partner. I guess those are the only tips I really have.
Yeah, I would just echo those same tips.
Just the tip, I think, is what we're trying to say. Just the tips.
Several of them, though.
Several tips. That's always the solution for your problems. We're going to take one last break, and when we come back, we are wrapping up the show. You are listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Judy Schneider, Leon Kasab, Carolyn Albert, Sammy Scoop, Sarah Smith, Mike Helm, Darren Cunningham, Cody the DeLorean Guy, Brady Malachuk, and Max the Ginger Scoop. Would you like to sponsor the show? Become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy.
So, Nick, I don't know if you know this, and I don't want to make you jealous, but when I got here, Jacob has given me gifts. Jacob's actually been saving his newspapers. Because the other day I asked him if I could have the one I found on his driveway. And so now he's just saving the Sunday editions.
It's Sunday today, right?
Yeah, but there's 2 of them.
Right.
There's one from last week. And so there's the second one.
Right.
You're saving them for me.
Well, I'd taken the one from last week and put it in that chair.
Yes.
And then I did the same thing this week.
Yeah. And I'm flattered. I'm honored. And I receive this the way you want me to.
Good.
As a gift of our friendship. And just really, I feel a lot closer to you.
Got off the rails a little bit there, but I'm glad you received it the way I intended.
I think we're on the same exact page. I think we're, obviously we're going to get an apartment together, and I'm excited for it.
Not jealous at all.
No, you shouldn't be, because I think you just have to understand you can't compete. There's no newspapers for you.
I've stopped trying.
These are for me.
Yeah.
So,
I know that the two of you have something special. So
thanks, bud. I'm just glad you're happy for us.
Yes.
That's good friend. You're very mature of you, man.
Yes.
Just taking the high road. You're a class act.
Thank you.
You can be my best man. As we wrap up the show, we want to remind you that you can sign up at patreon.com/therapy and you can get our extended show ad-free a day earlier, as well as enjoy our live chat Discord community and our spontaneous deep dives, interviews, skill shares, research, roundups, and rants. And do we have anybody to welcome to the fair party?
That didn't make it into the script for reasons I won't get into. Scoop Lindsay became a therapal.
Yay!
Thank you. Thank you, Scoop Lindsay. We also have, let me scroll. Let's see, Kyle Sharton.
Yay!
Therapod. Welcome.
All right, Kyle.
And scroll. Andrew Carmadel. Andrew Carmadel. I think
Andy
I'm pronouncing
C,
that
I
right.
believe is what they call him. in the
New
streets.
Therapal. So thank you for joining.
Love
yeah.
having the new friends. And we'd like to thank the benevolent, revered, generous, and flagrantly pro-therapy diehards who love you all so much they give till it hurts, that they're partners Dirty B and Pickett. And we want to thank our bosses, the mysterious and shrouded Illuminati members of the fan club that they're producers. Thank you, Jake Schneider, Myra, Robert Brownie Jr. Mintz, Smitty Scoop, Richard fucking Macy, Judy Schneider, Malia, Leon Kassab, Carolyn Albert, Kevin Chamberlain, Tess Miller, Dan Martin, Sammy Scoop, Slurpee Kai, motherfucker, fuck you Slurpee, ruining my goddamn fantasy football draft, Ben Stanley slapping your face, Sarah Smith, Adam Hathaway, Byler T, Mike Helm, Oscar Swanrose, Paris, a Sunny Boy, Darren Cunningham, Lib, Sandra McWaffle, Team Monaco, Thunder, Cougar, Falcon, Scoop, Hey Yo, Hannah Marie, Andrew Langmead, Emma Tonka, and Pony Soprano, Alina, Cody the Lorian Guy, Brady Malachek, Chick Fellatio, Gabriel Adame, Sean Sutherland, Max the Ginger Scoop, Chad Mag, Adam Warren, Anka Laprice, or Inca, who gives a shit, Sam Cohn,
bet she
Be Gay, Do Crimes.
And if you would like to this episode uncut and unedited,
And why wouldn't you?
and enjoy our spontaneous side projects, go to patreon.com/therapy. And thank you for supporting mental health.
Well, that's all the time we got for this week's session. We want to thank our landlords, SJ and the Ruckus Koi Pond Studio, and thanks to all of you who contributed to our show today. We really appreciate it. And hey, remember, Pod Therapy isn't something to keep all to yourself. Share the episode with the world. Tag us on the socials when you do. You can find us at Pod Therapy Guys on Instagram, Threads, and Twitter. It's /Pod Therapy on Facebook and Blue Sky. And don't forget about all the extra goodies at patreon.com/therapy.
You want to submit a question to the show? You can ask anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com or click the link in the episode description. I'm Nick Tangeman.
I'm Jim.
Thanks. And we'll see you for your appointment next week.
Portugal. So it's in Europe, right? Portugal?
Yeah, as Jim learned today, it is in
I did
Europe.
during the fantasy draft. Yeah, they asked me what was closer, Portugal or Ireland or something like that. And yeah, it took me a beat because I thought Portugal was in South America.
Do Portugal and Ireland share a border?
So they're all in Europe. So I assume that, I mean, no, right? Because, oh no, Ireland's an island. Yeah.
Hey, look at him.
I'm getting it, boys. I got this shit figured out.
Jim done learned a thing.
It's a country older than this one, and I still don't know fuck all about it.
That's where the beer comes from. And the whiskeys. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.